listening to the Cast&Blast podcast.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Cast&Blast podcast. I'm Jimmy, Pinche Ben.
What's up, everybody?
So we hope you're all having a good day. So we're coming back to you with maybe some story time. So last episode we talked about, being a weekend warrior and how we're both weekend warriors.
Proud of it.
There you go. Nothing bad about it. But what we talked about was a lot of the prepping and planning that goes into having a good day of fishing.
Right.
And we didn't get into some of the stories that we wanted to. So maybe today we'll share some of the stories of what can go bad and what you may not want to do, or maybe you do want to do.
Maybe you can learn from some of the stuff that we forgot to plan for and kind of led to a bad day for us.
Yeah. And I'm sure that, other weekend warriors like us out there, you probably have a lot of stories yourself, and we'd like to hear
some pros that have been doing it for years, or some fishing guides and charters that have been, doing it for years. They're all going to laugh at us, but you know what? We're laughing at ourselves and having a good time, and we're not afraid to share those, the do's, the don'ts, and I guess the bloopers, I guess you could say.
Some of the fails.
Yeah, fails.
Hey, we're human, man. We're not perfect.
That's right.
And, even some of the pros, I'm sure we talked about it earlier, some of the complacency sets in, and you start making some of the small mistakes that you wouldn't normally make.
Yeah.
Because you think that you're not a weekend warrior. You in your mind, you think you're a pro.
You got it. You know what you're doing.
What's going to happen to me?
Nobody can tell you anything less. You're like, I know everything. Just sit back and watch me sink this boat. yeah.
Man, the safety aspect behind it, that's kind of what we're going to talk about more than anything, is how small failures to plan can turn into a huge safety issue real quick. You got a couple stories? You got anything to talk about? Maybe we can swap a couple.
Yeah.
And we'll like to hear what they are, but I really want to hear, some
of your comments, man.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments of something you forgot, something that you wish you would have planned for, something you hate being without. Like, just sometimes it's nothing that could ruin your day, but man, and it may not even be a safety thing. It may be a thing of, you went out fishing and you forgot a certain bait tray. And you're like, man, I see him. How did I forget this?
Yeah, how did I forget this? And if you would have had that, it would have made a hell of a better day of fishing, but you forgot it.
Yeah. Man, the first story, and I think it sticks with me because I never wanted to do it again. It was actually an embarrassing moment because I took my wife with me on a beautiful day out on the water, and my wife.
So the pressure's on you already. You got to perform when you take the wife. You have to.
It's a real deal for me when I get the wife fishing with me. Because as you know, she loves to hunt, but fishing, she's like, man, it's boring, And I'm like, I'll go out with you and I'll read a book, and I'm like, no, I want to take you out. Yeah,
you're like, no, I'm gonna make it fun. You're gonna catch fish. I promise.
Exactly. I'm gonna show you a good time and blah blah blah. I promise. Just go with me, or And this day was a beautiful day, and man, I want to say she was like, let's take the boat out, And I was like, for real? She's like, yeah, let's go. We'll take Luna, load her up on the boat, and we'll go out and have a good day on the water. And I was like, hell yeah. So we get ready. We get, kind of rushing through it. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't planned. You know what I mean?
Mistake number one.
And at that time, I had a 21-foot center console Grizzly tracker, the 2160, I think it is. I don't know.
Yeah, they make a 2160.
I think it was that one, and it was a center console boat that I got specifically for duck hunting and fishing, right? So,
good versatile hybrid.
Exactly. So this wasn't a bass boat. I didn't have, I've had, I call it like a fiberglass boat, or the pretty boats, I call them, with the gold flakes looking like a lowrider on the water and all that.
Your boat looks more like a lure than a lure?
Yeah. So I've had that, and this was an actual, just like you said, a versatile boat, and I was like, all right, I'm going to take it out. We get on the boat, we get loaded, hook up, and we take out, we go to the lake, which, I don't know, from here.
Man, it's a hop, skip, and a jump.
Yeah, man, you just got to, get out there. we get our stuff together. We get out there. I'm backing up, and I get the boat in the water. And I told her, I said, all right, so I'm gonna go park the trailer. I think I take that back. She wasn't comfortable launching the boat, so I said, okay, well, all I need you to do is go park the trailer then. And she's like, I can do that. And I was all right, cool. So
Teamwork.
You're probably thinking, oh, that's where it went wrong. But I go and I do a little circle. I come back to the courtesy dock. I'm waiting for her. And actually, with that boat, I could just rush up on the rocks. You know what I mean? Because
thick aluminum boat, good to go.
Bro, I would just go up, just got up on the side there, and I picked her up. The courtesy dock was always kind of busy, you know. Good fishing season. It's usually a bunch of boats there waiting to get to it. So I was like, just come down here. Got her on the boat safely. We get off, we push off. I get about, I don't know, I say about to the middle of the lake, you know. And as I'm going through I'm on plane, bro. I'm out there. I'm about to get to some spots where I know I'm going to have some good, time.
Yeah, you're like, man, I'm about to show my lady a good day. We're going to get on some fish.
And as I'm going through, I'm kind of like, I got this, got that. Like going through my...
You're doing a checklist on the water.
On the water, bro. So I'm going through and I'm
Day late and $1 short.
Yeah, bro. I'm like doing this, doing that. All right, cool. And then something just kind of like, and you know what? Let me back up. This is how things led to this. It gets worse. I haven't even gotten to the bad part yet.
Yeah.
So we get out a little bit. I'm looking around. I'm like, yeah, you're kind of hauling ass. You're on plane. You're just kind of
feeling good. Wind blowing by you.
Looking around. I was like, and come down, and she's like, what's going on, right? I was like, babe, do you look around you? What's missing? She's like, I don't know. I was like, the rods.
The rods.
Bro. The rods. She drove off in my truck. That's my fault. That ain't her fault. That's my fault. Like, how did I not forget to load the rods, bro? So she's like, oh my God, babe. I was like, I'm sorry. I said, that's my fault. So
were the rods in the truck?
In the truck.
Okay.
So head back to the thing. She runs off, grabs the rods, comes back on the truck. We're heading back, dude. And like I said, this time you're kind of like, I don't know why. There was probably so much daylight ahead of us, but you feel like you're in a rush.
Yeah. Right?
You're playing catch up, right? And I'm out there and I'm getting out. Now this time I'm out. Now I'm about in the middle of the lake. And I think I got to a spot that I had marked on my graphs. I get out there and I cast out. And there's this feeling like I'm still kind of going through my checklist. Like you said, way too late.
You feel something's not right.
Something ain't right, bro. So I turn around, I go to the back of the boat, and I'm taking in water, bro.
Taking in water?
I'm taking in water.
Did you go up on the rocks too hard? Oh, wait.
I forgot the plug.
You forgot the plug.
Plug is, it's in the boat, but I'm already on the water. Mm-hmm. And to get it, down and plugged up and all that stuff, I really felt as though like things are going bad. Let's just take off. Like I didn't feel right. I felt embarrassed. I felt, bro, this is not happening today. You know what I mean? And I was able to bilge and all that stuff, but now I'm just bilging on the way back. And you know what I mean? It was just like, so she's like, oh my God, are we sinking? I was like, we're not sinking, but it isn't good, Now I was still like kind of new to that boat particularly. And, I think I put the plug in and I might've put it in like the bilge.
Oh, I put it in the wrong hole.
I put it in the wrong hole.
But the boat didn't tell you.
Hey, she didn't mind. So here I am, dude, doing all the like tucking my tail between the legs and heading back to the ramp. I get back there, bro. I'm super embarrassed. My wife's laughing at me, man. She's like, come on, man. Get your shit together. You know her. So we head back and we freaking do that. I pulled, there's no plug to pull. It's just water had already pretty much started draining on the way out. I didn't take in like
you get up on plane, it can drain it.
But the whole thing was the embarrassment, and the fact that I did it was enough for me to like bro, that can't ever happen again.
Man, you're a smarter man than me. You know, if you called it,
I did.
If you called
I felt
it,
like there was enough things going bad.
What's going to happen
Dude,
next?
Luna jumped off the boat after my first cast. So here I am. You know, I just sent her, like, I think it was like dove season. So I just sent her to work like the prior couple months, Caden and them, to get her trained for bird season. So we always send her to get a little work done before bird season picks up. So she's in work mode because, you know, she's our lap dog. So she's here chilling all year, and then, hey, it's time to work now. So she had been chasing freaking bumpers and birds like this whole off season. So the first cast, I tossed this big old like chatterbait off the boat, you know. She's like, whew.
I'm going for it. I'm going for it.
So I was like, man. So I got to reel in quick and get it away from her. And then here she comes swimming back. Get back in the boat. Bro, I just knew something, like, it was time to call it. I called it. I came home. I was super embarrassed. My wife was like, who are you going to call and tell? I was like, you're not going to tell anybody.
This is what happens on the water stays on the water.
So that's my big, like, embarrassing moment. But, you know, it all boils down to, you said it earlier, becoming complacent. 2, not planning. You know, I kind of rushed through it. And I have, like, my checklist. You know what I mean? We did it in the Army so many times. We call it P4T3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, check your parts, your people, you know, all that stuff, your plan, all that stuff. And for us, we rushed through it. And then me thinking, like, I got this. Like, let's just roll. And she was probably, like, in her head, like, you good? You this and that? And I was like, yeah.
You do it a few times, you think it's muscle memory. But...
It is, man, and as embarrassing as it is, I'm talking to other people, they were like, yeah, bro, it happens.
If one thing throws you off, it throws off numerous things.
Yeah, but, and you saw the progression, and, you know, I picked up on the signs. I was like, man.
But like you said, man.
What was next?
What was next? But what I was saying is, like, you're smarter than me, because I would have took that opportunity to been like, man, I'm about to show my girl some cool shit. Yeah. I would have got the boat back up on plane.
Yeah,
try to drain the water and be like, babe, hold this steering wheel.
Hold this, whack,
plug it in, you know.
Yeah. Well, I thought about that, but that jack plate was.
No, you did the right thing. You did the right thing.
Man, I mean, bro, that's just a rookie thing all the way around. There were so many different ways to recover and bounce back from that. But it was enough for me to just kind of go back and kind of regroup and kind of learn from my mistakes. And that day forward, my wife and I came up with our checklist. Yeah. Like, hey, let's come up with something that we're double checking each other. And it was an acronym, you know, that we would remember. And that was the way we went through that.
Isn't it crazy how one small thing can ruin an entire day? Something small.
And that was, like, not life-threatening, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like, it could have been.
You got built.
First off, it's really hard.
You got some redundant systems that can.
Yeah, it's really hard to float an aluminum boat out in this lake. You know what I mean? Like you said, once you get on plane, once you go get that water rushing out.
Now, depending on how much, you know, if you don't notice it for a good while.
Yeah, but it was right away. I mean, nothing was underwater. I just knew I was taking in water, and, you know, she was like, oh my God, are we sinking? It's like, no, we're not sinking, but
it's not a good thing.
We'll be all right. We're just going to leave it like that and head back to the ramp. And I was fine by the time I got back to the ramp, but it was embarrassing.
Yeah.
Very embarrassing.
It happens. I had a really embarrassing trip last year. We talked before, me, my dad, and son, and, you know, we try to do a fishing trip every year. We did one last year, and, you know, we're down here in Central Texas, so I planned the whole trip, and it was up on the Comanche River in Oklahoma, in southeast Oklahoma. So I got on Onyx, and I looked at Onyx and Avionics, and I was looking at places to where we could go fish in a particular part of the river. And I knew the boats that we had and the motors we had, we weren't going to be able to go far. So what we had 2 boats and we had 4 guys going. It was me, my dad, my brother-in-law, and my son. And we were going out for 5 days. So with 4 dudes going for 5 days, you're taking a lot of shit, right? Yeah. So the boats, we had 2 boats. We had a 14-foot flat bottom, I think it's 1448, and then we had a 10-foot, like 10-foot 36, you know, like small boat.
Small, tiny.
And we used that boat to...
There's bigger kayaks.
Yeah, we used that boat for gear, but we couldn't fit all of our gear in that boat without sinking it. So we had to put some of the gear in the boat that...
You're moving
that we're in, too. Yeah. So... our motor was a Briggs & Stratton 5-horse motor.
Yeah.
A lawnmower engine with a prop on it.
That's exactly what it is.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. So with all that in mind, I did weeks of planning on where to go and what we could do. So I found an island that was not too far. It was about 2 miles from a boat ramp. You know, I did all this planning. So we finally get there, and you know, there's a lot of money involved with the food and the drinks and the fuel and everything, right? We get out there and we get the boats loaded up on the river, finally get this Briggs & Stratton fired up, and there's some people that come out and they said, hey, a game warden came down here and made us leave. We were camped out, and this is at the boat ramp. And I was like, well, sorry to hear that. We're taking off. We're going. I was like, I haven't seen them yet, so I just wanted to get the hell out of there, so that, honestly, I was like, they're going to have to come find me.
Yeah.
That's where I was at with it. So, and I didn't know why. I didn't want to know why.
Yeah.
Well, we spent the night. Early the next morning, I hear a boat coming up the river, and I see it come around the bend.
And you could tell the different kind of boats, too. When you're out in the river, you can tell what boats are locals.
Yeah.
And am I right?
Yeah, you can, and especially around this bend, right? I was out there fishing, and they came up early. It's probably around 8:30 that next morning, and me and my son, we'd wake up and, you know, try to catch some white bass and things like that. We went out there primarily to catfish, and we were doing pretty good catfishing, and everybody's having a good time. You know, we'd planned this out or been talking about it from the last trip a year ago, you know, so everybody was looking forward to it, and nobody had to do anything. I planned everything. I'm like, we're good to go, guys. It's going to be a great trip. And those people, my heart kind of sank when they said, hey, the game wardens made us leave here. And I was like, oh God, here we go.
Here we go.
And it's hard to plan a trip, especially out of state, with a lot of things that were going on. So I hear that boat coming around the corner or around the bend, and then I see it, and I see it's a game warden boat, and I was like, oh man, here we go. Beeline straight towards us, right? Beeline. So I just stood there on the bank, and they pulled up, and they were like, hey guys, what's up? And we're like, nothing, man, just out here camping, you know, having a good annual trip. We do this every year, explain the situation. And they said, hey, you guys, we were on an island too. So there's an island in the river. And he said, you guys know you ain't supposed to be out here? And mind you, we planned for 5 days. This is day one, basically, that we're out there.
That would be a bad
and I was like, man, here we go. So I was like, no, you know what's going on? Why can't we be here? And he said, this is it's in a WMA too. And what it was youth deer season. And they said, this thing is closed down. Oh. The whole entire WMA is closed down for this particular weekend on this WMA. And in everything that I researched about the WMA, because I looked for stuff, but there was nothing that said it was closed. And I was like, oh my God, these guys are going to make us leave. But we told them the story, and they looked at all of our license. They checked everything. They said, man, you guys are out here doing some cool stuff. We like to see families out doing this stuff. And they said, you know what? You're lucky you're on this island, because if you were on the bank anywhere, we'd make you pack up and leave. And I was like,
so you were in a place that they weren't going to bother you.
Exactly. They said, since you're on this island, we're going to let you guys stay here.
Cool.
So I thought that I planned. I'm a planner and preparer, and I always check for everything that I can. But that's one of those that I don't know how I could have known without calling, the game wardens that were down there. But I checked everything else, so I thought it was good to go. And I was like, no, we're good. But that could have ruined a trip that was, a 5-day trip that all the pressure's on you to do. But luckily, great positive experience and with the game wardens, and they let us go since we were on that island. But sometimes it goes to show, how it doesn't matter how much planning,
how much you plan.
No matter how much you plan, there can be something out there that you overlook and you miss. And if you do overlook it and miss it, if they would have made us leave, I would have been mad. But technically, you can't be mad about it. They're out there doing their job. Place was closed, and we intruded. So luckily, we got to stay though. But I do got I guess more of a safety story too. But
well, I was talking about my story, thinking about almost sinking my boat and all that stuff, and how embarrassing that was. And I started thinking about one more thing. You know anybody who's ever sunk their boat in a driveway?
In a driveway? No, in a driveway. What, are we talking about SpongeBob here? Or are we like...
So Here we go.
Yeah, I got to hear this. Sunk a boat in a driveway.
I didn't forget my plug this time. But this time my boat is uncovered.
This is your boat sunk in a driveway.
This is my boat here in my driveway.
I'm glad I didn't say what I was going to say then.
Yeah. What dumbass would do that? Bro, I have my plug in. My boat's sitting out here uncovered. When we got some kind of monsoon rain come through.
Yeah.
And at this time, I did some kind of like cleaning and did some stuff on my boat. And then I went back and by this time now I have my boat plug tethered to the back, so it's just there and I can like let it hang. It only hangs so certain 550 cord.
Try not to lose it, make sure it's there.
So I get out to, the weather clears or whatever, and I just kind of walking around the boat and I look, there's freaking like 5 inches of standing water inside my boat. So I can imagine like the hull is just full. So,
and the axles on your trailer are probably, that's a lot of weight.
First thing I had to do is raise the front end of the boat, and that was like, the crank was heavy, you know? So then I go to the back and pull that drain plug. Dude, it was hilarious. And I remember Robert and Angela, they come over for something, right? And they came over and they're all like, he's like, damn, Ben, you're the only one that's ever seen sink a boat in the driveway. Hey, man. Again, that's not a bad plan, and that's not a stupid thing. It's just like,
shit happens,
something
bro.
that happens. What the hell?
You can't remember to put it in or take it out.
I know. Now I'm be that guy. Hey, you know what? And again, man, want to share these stories with you guys so that maybe you don't make those mistakes. And, again, we did say in the beginning when we started this podcast, we weren't afraid to share our embarrassing laughs, our fails, our wins. We're going to share them all with you guys. And this is what kind of like how we have fun with this podcast, because we don't take ourselves so serious that, I'll never tell that story or nobody will ever hear that. Man, you can put it in a book and publish it. I don't give a shit.
I could sit here for 8 hours and tell stories of, you did what?
Yeah. It's kind of like, that's just as bad as like stepping on the edge of a rake and slapping yourself in the face, man. So,
man, I did have this one time. I've had worse scenarios than this, but it was probably one of the most memorables because I felt like a bad dad. Okay. And as a dad, that's the worst thing that you ever want. Yeah. Me and my buddy, we were up in Kansas. It was Adam Sheets. We were fishing hard all the time, just fishing. And it was on a 4-day weekend, and we decided we were going to get off work and we were going to hit the water. We were going to do some nighttime catfishing. So by the time we got on the water, it was, sun's getting ready to go down and things like that. And my son loves to fish, so he was like, Dad, I want to go with you. I'm like, come on, buddy, let's go. I love it when he goes with me. So we were in, I think it's 16-foot, semi V with like a 1973 19-horse Johnson on it, that works sometimes. We got out on the water and everything's clear, everything's fine. We start fishing, and then off in the distance we see lightning. Well, we are in Kansas. Kansas is pretty flat country, so you might see lightning hundreds of miles away, the sky lighting up. Well, it just kept getting closer and closer and closer. And we done went up this lake quite a ways, and this lake is very narrow. It's not very wide, but it's very narrow and long. Yeah. And when you get the right wind coming out of the right direction, it gets some big waves on it, and big waves in a small boat don't do very well. So at this point, it's probably 11:30 at night, and it starts storming. I mean, it is storming and raining as hard as I've ever seen it rain, and the boat is sitting in the water. It's too heavy to pull up because we're on a steep bluff. We can't pull the boat up to let the water drain, so we're like, man, we got to get the hell out of here. So we take off across the lake in this little ass boat. Actually, we were kind of in a cove, so we didn't know how big the water was on the main lake. So we wanted to get out of there before the boat swamped, with rainwater, because it was raining bad. And I had my kid in there, and we come around the corner of that cove, and we hit that big water. Well, we thought the rain was giving us a lot of water in the boat. Bro, the waves that were coming out and over the bow of that little boat. And, we all got our life vest on, and I'm holding my son. I'm like, man, there is nothing going to happen to my kid, you know, and my buddy's driving the boat, and I'm trying to look out for ways. I'm telling him, like, left, right, you know, throttle up, throttle down. We're yelling, trying to communicate, because we're both scared to death. We're like, none of us are going to make it out of this shit. We're all dying right now tonight. We're not going to make it. It was the scariest. You know, we've been through some scary shit, you know, through, you know, not only through things like that, but overseas and deployments and stuff like that. But that was the scariest I've ever been in my life. And it was because my little boy,
you had him in your arms.
I had him in my arms, man. And I was like, nothing's going to happen. And that's that complacency that kicked in. Is we were looking for.
You saw the sign a long time ago.
We didn't know what's coming our way. And the bad thing is, you know, we both had phones and weather apps and things like that, but we didn't have signal out there. So we had no signal. And we were like, yeah, we're probably going to be fine. And we thought that we'd be able to ride it out if it did just kind of skate by us, but it got to the point to where we couldn't. And we're dumb because, well, we didn't check the weather before, and that's on the checklist. That's number one on the checklist to do, but we just got overly excited about getting off work and getting on the water. Just get out there and start hammering the fish. And that was literally a life-changing experience for me.
And that's kind of the shitty thing about being a weekend warrior is how many times have you been at work during the week, you're looking out the window and it's just beautiful, and it's like, man, I should be out there.
That's when you all of a sudden come down with it. I'm not feeling well. I got to go.
Then here comes the weekend, and when you finally get on the water, it's like the worst.
Yeah, it's just dead. It's
never
just
fails.
Yep.
Yeah. Man, I hope you guys enjoyed some of these, I guess, failure to plan moments, or even though you plan sometimes those plans don't really go as planned.
It's part of the product, you know. It happens.
Yeah, and you know, hopefully you'll never forget your plug. Hopefully you'll never leave your plug in the boat on in your driveway. Hopefully you never ignore the weather or you know, things like that. But you know, if you have some stories, man, and you want to share them, man, put them in the comments or send us an email. Let us know, man. But we like sharing our fails, so you guys don't ever fail like that, you know.
And if you want to hear more fails, because we have more. We got plenty of them.
Yeah, we do.
Let us know too if you like to hear the fails.
If you like those. I mean, they're lessons that you can learn I guess that's the easy way, right? Learning from others.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard to do, though. It really is.
It is.
Yeah, but you can listen and you can go, okay.
I remember hearing somebody say, "Don't do this."
That's right.
Yeah.
Let me double check this. So, man, you want to close us out, man? I think that was a good little sesh where we shared a couple of embarrassing moments and probably revealed too much about myself. But
yeah, well, that's the thing. I hope that you enjoy hearing the fails.
It's real and I guess uncensored in the sense of like we're just being honest guys. You know what I mean? Telling the truth about some situations that, you know, are inexperienced maybe, or lack of, you know, experience, however you want to look at it, you know, just kicked in and kind of that's how we learn from those hard lessons that we learn from that will never happen to me again.
I will never make that mistake on the water that I did with my son ever again. Not only with him or anybody else.
It was a learning moment, you know?
Yeah, it was a life-changing moment.
Good.
So if you haven't already, though, go to our website, cast&blastoutfitters.com. We got a lot of good merch, a lot of new merch. You know, check out some of our hats, check out some of our tees, check out some of our performance fishing shirts. Like Ben's wearing one now. Super nice gear, nice shirt, 3 to 4 prints on pretty much everything. Embroidered hats, printed hats, leather patched hats. You know, whatever it is that you could support, stickers, koozies. We love the support. We love to support you guys. We have to be recognized. That's not only for us, that's for us to recognize our supporters as well.
That's right.
So if you can, you know, drop in, give us a like on our Facebook page, Instagram, TikTok, follow us there. Just drop in, see what we're doing, give us a comment, let us know what you're doing.
Yeah, let us know and send pictures and share your experiences and share your stories, man. We're opening up a community of like-minded men and women who just like to get out there and live the Cast and Blast lifestyle. So that's what this is about. Let's grow the conversation, and maybe people that are also following will respond and maybe provide some feedback, and maybe we can all learn from each other and share some cool experiences, share some wins, share some fails, and just have a good time along the way.
Let's make a deal, Ben. I think if we can hear 10 of your stories, some of your fails, or maybe some of your wins, if you'd rather it be a win than a fail, we'll take that too. But if we can get 10 fails, let's do a giveaway on the next podcast.
Hey, that sounds good.
We'll put a swag pack together.
There's got to be 10 people out there that have some stories that they can share. So if you guys drop your comments, we need 10 stories. 10 stories dropped in the comments below this video, and we'll go in there and we'll count them up. And when we get past 10, we'll go ahead and do the next episode with a giveaway, and that'll be exclusive to you guys, just as our followers that are watching the podcast. So that's our way of saying thank you, and that's our way of engaging with you guys. So we're looking for your way
of being recognized.
Yeah, that's your way of being part of this journey with us, man. So we hope to be giving you some kind of exclusive I guess deals, so to speak, or exclusive recognition.
Yeah, and to show our support back. Our appreciation and our support back.
There you go. So
I think that's a wrap. Check us out. I think that's a wrap. Let us hear those fails.
Yeah, we look forward to them, guys.
I want to read them.
Get those things going. Make sure you drop them right below this video in the comments. There's usually a comment section you can click on and let us know. If you just want to let us know, hey, you guys are, thank you for being honest, drop a comment there too.
Let us know.
You guys got to understand that anytime you comment, you drop a like or share or anything like that, that's all engagement, and that engagement helps us grow and it helps us get these videos out in front of other people. So we welcome your comments. We welcome your engagement, good and bad. We'll take any comments we can. If you have constructive criticism, we'll take that as well. So we're doing everything we can to make sure you guys are enjoying this podcast as we go. So, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this podcast today. Jimmy and I had a good time.
Yeah, had a good time.
Stories.
Good time?
Hey, yeah.
Good time.
All right, guys, we're going to sign out. Catch you on the next one. Peace.